Hello, world. It says we're active. I'm active. Anyway, clean egg out of the carpet. Okay. Josh, kids are going to do that. At least to start with, today I'm by myself. Ian's on the way. Had to spend a little extra time at work today. But the stupidity is so friggin' strong right now that it's not funny. Uh, among other things, the J&J vaccine has now been paused for how long, nobody knows, because they have apparently had a few number not specified, few blood clots with people with the getting the J&J vaccine. Now this is out of a couple of million doses. So you're looking at 0.000 something percent, but it has been stopped. It's just one thing after another. Uh, Probably the classic, at least that I've seen so far today, is something that Sarah Clitheroe put up in Facebook, which I apparently missed/didn't watch the press conference this morning, where Psaki said that they are trying to reach out to white conservatives through the use of, you're going to love this, uh, NASCAR, Deadliest Catch, 700 Club, and a couple of other channels, including country television, so that they can get white conservatives to actually take the vaccine. White evangelicals and conservatives. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, it's just freaking amazing, that they're going to go to that length to try to get publicity for a vaccine.
Where's he?
He's on his way. So that kind of tripped me offline this morning. Oh. Yes, they went on 700 Club too.
Do you hear the Dr. Fauci's announcement about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
Yeah.
6 cases out of the 6.8 million Johnson & Johnson vaccines have been administered have had clotting issues.
Yeah. 0.0000 something.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And now they're going to scream, oh, we didn't test it enough. Well,
yeah.
Dude.
None of them have been actually tested. They are all still EUAs. No, they are all still EUAs. Not a single one of them has technically been approved. None of them. They are in emergency use authorizations only. There is no approval.
Okay.
Yep. Six people out of 6 million. Yep.
7 million.
Yeah, 6 million, 7 million. It's what's a million here or there. I mean, hell, in the federal budget, that's, pocket lint.
Well, even if it had been tested, that wouldn't have popped up.
No, because you're not going to see that until you see actual dosages in arms. And it's the same thing. There have been reactions to the others, and again, nothing has been done. But it goes back, kind of something that I found, actually found again, a column by Charlie Reese that was written in 1985 when he was writing for the Orlando Sentinel. And I remember this because in those days I was stationed in Florida and actually got the Orlando paper because it was better than Jacksonville fish wrap. Politicians are the only people in the world who create problems and then campaign against them. Have you ever wondered why, if both the Democrats and Republicans are against deficits, why do we have deficits? Have you ever wondered why, if politicians are against inflation and high taxes, we have those? You and I don't propose a federal budget. The president does. You and I don't have constitutional authority to vote. The House does and the Senate does. You and I don't write tax code. Congress does. You and I don't set fiscal policy. Congress does. You and I don't control monetary policy. Federal Reserve does. 100 senators, 435 congressmen, one president, and 9 Supreme Court justices. 545 humans out of 300 million are directly, legally, morally, and individually responsible for the domestic problems that plague this country. Now, this was written in 1985. It still holds true today. If you exclude all the special interests and lobbyists, they have no legal authority. They have no ability to coerce a senator, a congressman, or a president to do anything. No matter what a lobbyist promises, it's the legislators' responsibility to determine how he votes. It's a con game played by people, 445 of them. What separates a politician from a normal human being is an excessive amount of gall and narcissism. No normal human being would have the gall of Tip O'Neill, who stood up and criticized Ronald Reagan for creating deficits. The president can only propose a budget. He can't force Congress to accept it. The Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, gives sole responsibility to the House of Representatives for originating appropriations and taxes.
The power of the purse.
Power of the purse. Those 545 people, and they alone are responsible. They and they alone should be held accountable by the people who are their bosses, provided they have the gumption to manage their own employees. The great advantage of a free society is the capacity to self-correct itself. You'd think dictators would have figured that out, but if they are not paranoid when they seize power, they become so trying to hang on to power. So, if you think about that, that applies even more today. Narcissistic personalities enriching themselves by the sweat of our brows, not theirs. 2 classic examples that I can come up with real quickly. One of them is Robert Byrd, West Virginia. Roads, buildings named for him, kickbacks under the table, kickbacks above the table. You know, $3.4 billion in about 10 years before he retired/died, of which they could trace over $2 million in bribes to him. Another one was Strom Thurmond down in South Carolina, one of the longest serving senators. He was a poor man when he went to Congress. When he retired, he was a multimillionaire.
How many sitting senators and congressmen have become millionaires by sitting as senators and congressmen right now?
Oh, yeah. Pelosi, Feinstein.
I'm saying these guys have never held a real job in their lives.
No.
Yet somehow they're making millions.
Yeah.
On a
insider trading.
$165,000 a year salary.
Yeah. Well, Strom Thurmond, probably the ultimate one for him, was he held up the entire interstate program in South Carolina until they built him an exit to his farm. That was his kickback.
It's important for the military to be able to get to that farm.
Yeah. Yep. Bernie Sanders is another one.
Owns 3 houses.
I think it's 4 houses.
4 houses, is a multi-millionaire, almost a billionaire.
Yeah.
And has the only thing he's ever done is hold a public office.
Yep.
You remember Thomas Jefferson and his thought on the gentleman farmer?
Yeah.
That was his idea of who would serve in government. He would, take a few years off from farming, go serve the people, then go back to farming so you could actually make a living.
Yep. And Sarah Singleton says they think if they pander on the right show, people will be less skeptical about the vaccines. They're missing the point. Again, yes.
I do find it interesting that of all the other reactions to all the other vaccines, the one that they're doing a pause on is the one that does not require special handling, does not require special storage, and only requires one shot.
Yep.
Oh.
And it is not an mRNA. So it is actually a vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Only one.
David Bach, oh God, Burt and Thurman still vote Democrat to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do. God. In other news, it looks like Minneapolis is going to burn again.
Yeah. When did the incident? It happened on Monday? Or it happened over the weekend?
Oh, this latest one?
Yeah.
It happened yesterday or day before yesterday.
Okay,
Right.
I find it. Okay, so I think it would be too soon for any of the activists to actually make it there to start rioting. So this may be part of actual populace of Minneapolis, St. Paul doing it, which means that the liberals have lost control of the rioting because they had control of all the rioting over last year.
Yeah.
Because something would happen and it would take a few days to gather all the people, and then the rioting and looting would start.
Well, they're already there because of the Chauvin trial.
You think they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Well, I watched the news conference a while ago. Brooklyn Center, you know, they might as well just pack up and.
I mean, the black mayor.
Yeah.
Of Brooklyn Center.
Yeah. The chief of police resigned this morning.
Mm-hmm.
The officer involved resigned this morning. They fired the city council, or the not city council, the city manager was fired by the council because he said the word due process. The city council has passed a resolution that does not allow tear gas, pepper spray, kettling, anything to break up riots.
Right. Which means they go directly from billy clubs to firearms.
They can't even do that. According to the mayor, he wants to take away their guns because he does not think the police need guns all the time.
No, nobody needs guns all the time.
Yeah.
You just need guns when suddenly you need a gun.
Yeah.
Now, if you could plan for that, maybe the mayor can plan for that. Does he have a crystal ball?
Yeah. And Josh makes a good point. The cops have now been put directly under the mayor by the city council because they were afraid of personal retribution for decisions they made.
Well,
now nobody, you know, common sense, you step back and look at it. If this guy Wright had not tried to fight the cops, he wouldn't have been shot.
Yeah, there's an accident change here. I mean,
yeah, if he hadn't tried to run, he might still be alive because the cops might have been able to save his life.
And there's a training issue with the officer and the fact that she yelled taser,
yeah,
but drew the wrong weapon, which kind of because the taser is supposed to be in a specific location on their belt.
Yep.
So everybody knows where it is.
But what was the situation? Fight or flight. What did she revert to?
She drew a pistol.
She drew her pistol because that's what she's trained to do.
Right.
But you can tell in the way she says it, she thinks in her mind she has her taser.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she's convinced she's got her taser,
yeah.
And based upon where she shot,
yeah, that was a taser shot.
Yeah, she was going for center mass.
Yeah,
and the most muscle mass to disable the guy, and sure enough,
yeah,
it disabled him.
Yep. Yeah, and Josh and David both are right. The gun taser issue is a training and practice problem. What do people practice? They practice drawing their pistol. They don't practice drawing their taser from wherever it is.
They probably do taser once.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
Whereas if the worst it is every 6 months they're going to draw their pistol.
Yeah.
That's still a hell of a lot more than the one time they draw their tape for training.
Yep. Because you don't practice with it.
Well, no, tasers are expensive.
Yeah.
Bullets, well, they're expensive now, but they worked before.
Yeah. Yeah. And David again makes the point. Muscle memory is a hard thing to overcome when you're under that kind of stress. And yeah, well, Josh, it's getting to the point that taser cartridges and ammo are almost equal in cost. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw an ad from SG Ammo today for a 9mm Lawman.
Yeah.
At $1.15 a round. Yeah. On the plus side, my 50 cal is still about $3.30 a round, so I'm not complaining.
Well, yeah, granted, Josh, they're still more expensive shot for shot. You're true. But it's you know, it's training.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like the latest and greatest thing now for, you know, civilian carry is appendix carry. I am almost 70 years old. I've carried a gun at 4 o'clock on my hip for 36 years legally. I'm not going to carry something stuck down the front of my pants because A, I don't want it pointing in my junk and my femoral artery.
Yes.
And B, I know if I've got to draw that weapon, my hand is going to 4 o'clock regardless of where that weapon is sitting. And yeah, it's tactical to go to that. And oh, you know, you can conceal it better. And you can this, that, and the other.
Mm. It's more dangerous.
It's more dangerous.
You are. Look at it this way: you have appendix carry. You walk into a bad neighborhood, and there's a bad guy. He's threatening you, and you have to draw. Now you are going to sweep vital parts of your body first.
Oh yeah.
Before you get to him. And you're under stress, and if there's a safety involved, you got to get that. If there's no safety involved, you got to draw it out. And is your finger going to stay indexed, or are you preparing to shoot so your finger's going to be on the trigger sooner than it should be? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's too many chances for you to shoot yourself and make it easier for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason brings up a good point. Next push will be for LEOs to move their tasers to where they carry their sidearms and move the sidearms to the offside to a triple retention holster that takes 10 minutes of dexterity to access.
Oh, offside trying to, yeah.
You know,
they'll never draw.
Well, 8:30 is 3:30 to 4 for us.
Yeah.
Normal people, Josh. I mean, you hookers are sinister people or in your own little world.
Hey, now, it was one summer during college, and I was desperate for money.
Yeah, Jason. The other thing, you know, you've hit a key point, I think, and that is the holsters. I mean, when I was growing up, a lot of the officers carried Colts in, you know, a 3 persons with a strap. Probably a lot of them didn't carry any retention because you respected law enforcement.
Plus, you kept your bullet in your pocket.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Most of the guys that I knew, no, they knew what the gun was for and knew how to use it. But it just, you know, it's migrated to the point now. Most officers on the street have a triple retention holster.
Yeah, it's mandated by whatever department they work for.
Because it is, and it becomes harder and harder because more and more people don't respect the officers of the law. 10 of them have been killed. 10 or 11 have been killed in the last 30 days. Where are the protests for them? There aren't any. How many of those people's names are known? None. Unless you happen to be in that area. You know, and it gets worse and worse. There was one up in Philadelphia day before yesterday, I think, or yesterday, that a friend of mine sent me. A road rage incident.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember that one.
Black guy stabs a white guy, gets his car, drives off, gets caught, and says, well, he should have known better than to come after somebody that don't have a wife and kids.
Oh, because he didn't have the stick figures in his back window.
Yep.
That's how he knew.
Yeah.
Right. How the fuck are you supposed to be able to tell if a guy has a wife and kids?
I don't know.
I mean, there is the beaten, dejected look on his face as he walks down the road, but I mean,
Yeah.
normally, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the entire reason for the taser is because of freak out over batons, nightsticks, and pain compliance levels. Yeah. Well, and it actually goes back, batons are designed to break before you break body parts, which is a change from the nightstick, because a nightstick, hickory nightstick, won't break. It'll break pieces first. Yeah, David, I feel for your wife's cousin. I feel for any family that's gone through that. And it happens quite a bit. England, yeah. The English have a different mentality toward law enforcement because for many years, a bobby was respected and a bobby walked the block. So he knew everybody on that block.
Yeah, there was no patrol cars.
Yeah, they didn't have patrol cars. You're right.
No, they had strategic police call boxes.
Yeah.
And if they needed help, they could run there and get help. But
yeah,
no, you knew everybody on your beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, hell, I mean, nobody knows their neighbors half the time.
No, the police drive around in cruisers with the windows up and the AC on.
Yeah.
They never talk to anybody. They just, they're looking for something out of the ordinary.
Yeah. They're checking their license plate reader, to see if there's any alerts on that.
No, there's no policing in the traditional sense of the word.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason, slaps and jacks have enough give, depending on which kind you get, to apply force without breaking bones. But you get hit with one of them and it will sure get your attention.
You can swing a jack hard enough to crack a skull.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's all about the jack. It's all about momentum. You have this flimsy thing with all the weight out at one end. And it's just like a mace or the chain ball thing from medieval times.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Josh, England does not have long distances. People over there walk a lot because they don't own cars. Same thing for New York City. A friend of mine was 37 or 38 years old before he ever got a driver's license because he lived in New York City. He'd never had to drive. And when he got a job as a web designer and had to move to the West Coast, he had to go to driver's school at 37 years old.
Sitting there with all the other high school kids.
No, he went to a private tutor.
Yeah.
But apparently the private tutor looked at him and went, "What do you mean you don't know how to drive? You're how old?" "I'm 37. I never had to drive because I live in New York City." Oh boy.
I mean, what did you do for prom?
They took the subway.
You're not getting late on the subway.
No. Yeah, Josh, it is kind of sad. And what was even worse was apparently he ended up living about 20 minutes from where he worked. And he complained about that because he said there was no public transportation.
No, Pelosi got her subway to nowhere.
Oh, well, yeah, that was San Francisco. That was not LA.
Yeah, on the last bill, she got her subway to nowhere.
Yeah. And, he was complaining about how everything was spread out. And I was laughing at him. I said, if you think LA is spread out, you need to come to Texas. And I told him about driving 2 hours to have dinner. And he said, well, that's stupid. I said, no, that's the way you do it out in our part of flyover country, because that one good restaurant may be 2 hours away.
Well, it's 2 hours drive just to get from one side of Dallas to the other side of Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And that's on interstates.
Yeah. Yeah, Louise says firemen take the subway to fires in New York City. Yeah, sometimes they do, literally, because it's quicker. And Josh goes, yeah, laughs in El Paso. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we've got a little uh, place up here that's a fish camp, serves catfish, and it's 45 minutes away. And we do that drive routinely. And it is out in the middle of nowhere. But I was talking to the manager, and he said, "Oh, I've got people that drive from 120 miles to come eat here."
Yep.
Routinely.
Although I do prefer the hush puppies on the place here in town.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But still, that's pure fish camp
Yeah.
because it's very thinly sliced, fried.
He's drawing everybody from all of Oklahoma and
Yeah.
of half of Texas at least.
Yeah. Yeah, David, I understand it's not uncommon in Manhattan. But it was so funny because this guy's in his 30s, has never driven, and gets a job in LA and has to learn how to drive. It was laughable.
I wonder what his work said about that.
Apparently nothing.
They didn't realize, or
No.
What offered this job? What do you mean you can't drive?
Josh says he has to drive an hour just to get hate chicken. Yeah, well, there is that.
But we have 2 hate chickens in town now.
Yeah. Yes, Cedar. Distance is relative in Texas. You know, what's close to Texans is, yeah, 2 counties over or 2 states over, or if you're in Europe, 2 countries over from where you are.
It must be Ian.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason. Small cities are 45 to 90 minutes. Big ones are 2 hours. Yeah, it's the same thing in Alaska. Hello.
Hello.
We're talking about
What tangents do we go off on this time?
distances.
Distances
Oh.
to drive.
Measured in hours, not miles.
That doesn't work the other way around. What time is it? Oh, it's 8.5 miles.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Eh, it's way-
Oh, the Hate Chicken in Oak Ridge reopened. Ooh, yes, I would be going there tomorrow too, David.
We have 2 hate chickens now.
Yes. And Josh is pissed because he has to drive 90 minutes to get to one.
I drive 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and trust me, when you want hate chicken, it's a long 15 minutes.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding, right?
Yeah.
Well, it takes longer to go through the line sometimes. It doesn't get there.
Not the new one.
Yeah, the new one's kind of nice.
The new one, nobody's in the drive-through, and there's still people outside hoping people will come through the drive-through.
Oh, no, it was busy yesterday when I went down through there.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, 70 minutes. Sorry, Josh. Didn't want to insult you.
I'm still waiting for a Nando's to.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, if I win the lottery, I will open up a Nando's here in Wichita Falls.
Bless you.
Bleh.
Sarah says, I had to drive an hour plus for a good OBGYN to deliver thing too.
Oh,
Oh.
God, she's talking about a doctor.
Yeah,
I was
me
still on-
too.
I was still in food. I'm
I
like,
was-
"Oh, go ahead."
I was really not.
Is that a burrito place? Kind of.
Sounds like an egg thing. Well,
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
Oh, I typed up the agenda for FoolsCon
Oh, you
today.
did?
Yeah, I think we'll get it printed out.
Okay.
David said, it's funny when I teach a permit class on Sundays and I have to advise people not to go there for lunch. Yeah, they're closed. It's on Sundays.
Yes.
Yes.
That's one of the funny things about San Antonio when they get all hot and bothered about hate chicken.
Yeah.
Being at the airport. They tried to shut them down, not because they were religious. We're shutting you down because you're not open all the time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That was their excuse. Not because of your religion, because you're not open often enough.
So if you ran a hate chicken and you went 24 hour, would you close at midnight a minute before midnight on Friday night, or would you?
Now you close a minute
Close
before midnight on Saturday night.
Yeah. So and then or would you close at like 8 p.m.? I mean, are we Jehovah's Witness time clocks, or
Yeah.
are we?
That's good. I don't know. That's good.
This-
No, I
this
just
is-
I just
this-
like their chicken sandwiches.
Well,
Oh,
and
did you see? McDonald's is trying to copy Heat
Yeah.
Chicken.
Yeah.
To the point where if you order one of their new chicken sandwiches, it comes in a little tinfoil lined bag.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes.
yes.
You didn't Popeyes try this and got shot down in flames?
Oh God,
Well, no,
they suffered.
Popeyes sold out. They had to stop because they could not get enough buns.
Pull up, Parkins, pull up.
Uh,
But
but Hey Chicken they do a lot of interesting things. They do a lot of benefit stuff.
Yeah,
good
oh, yeah.
Lord.
Well, not even just benefits. I mean, the people will, out of the kindness of their hearts and stuff, like the
Yeah.
few years back, a snowstorm shut down one of the southern states, not Texas, but people were stuck on the interstate.
Yeah.
So the guy there was Chick-fil-A there, and the manager opened it up and fed people for
Yeah.
free
Yeah.
for the entire weekend.
He had cowhops going up and down the highway to pick
Yeah.
their stuff, give them a meal.
Yeah, and nobody told him to. He just did it, and he did it. And after he did it, Corporate was like, "Good job."
Yeah.
Well, when
Josh says Popeyes Hate Chicken with an attitude and a rap sheet. Yes.
well the local Hate Chicken, when we had the big natural disaster with the 500-year flood 2 years in a row,
Mhm.
they just somebody knocked on the emergency cattle car, and we opened it up, and there's two guys from Hate Chicken with boxes of sandwiches. Like,
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. We didn't ask, but thank you.
Yeah, Sanford, understand not everybody likes chicken, but that is something that, and where the term Hate Chicken came from was the boycott.
It's a tongue-in-cheek.
because
Yeah.
because they hate the gays.
Yeah.
They hate chicken.
No, they don't.
No.
Yeah.
They gave to a couple of charities, and one of them was gendered in some way,
Yeah.
and it wasn't because they were excluding people. It was just because the charity service they provided was gendered.
But the funny part was when that all started, I was still working out of DC. And they had a Hate Chicken in the little mall over there in Boston where we would go to lunch. So, we heard about it. It's like, yeah, know where we're going for lunch. We get across the street to the mall, and there's a line that's half a block long.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going, what's the line for? Oh, this is we're going to eat chicken today. Shit.
Yeah, every time they try to boycott Chick-fil-A's stock prices go.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well, the other good one is there is one on the way to the racetrack in Atlanta. And every year when they have the races in Atlanta, they sell on the highway.
Oh yeah,
They literally have a guy with
they set up kind of a drive-through.
they set a drive-through on the highway, and they've got people running the meals out. And okay, that was that car over there.
well, the joke about the vaccine and that Chick-fil-A should take over the vaccine thing.
Yeah.
Actually, it did happen. They had
Yeah.
somewhere, Georgia, I think.
Yeah, I was in Georgia.
Yeah. They asked the local Chick-fil-A manager, "Can you help?" And he went, "All right," and had everything lined out and ready to go.
Yeah, reorganized it, and they brought the normal staff out there, and they got the line separated and running.
One of the funnier things, there was right after the Hate Chicken boycott got started, there was a brief period where these idiots were giving the drive-through girl absolute cornbread hell and filming it. And they're putting this on YouTube where they're making the Chick-fil-A drive-through girl cry.
Jesus Christ.
And ours had just opened up, and there was some guy pulled up, and I was number 2 behind him, and this big, very large, very black dude in a pickup, a cowboy hat and boots, got out, walked up, And his voice was so deep, I heard him. If you make that girl cry, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Wasn't by any chance Daryl, was
No.
it?
He made Daryl look small.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
this was a
Jesus.
half-ton truck. When we climbed out of it, the driver's side springs went, oh, thank God. And the truck went up 6 inches.
Oh, so- yeah.
But that little white car took off. He got back in and ordered his number one to go. And
Okay.
do you make her cry? I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
All right then.
Well, it's like when the protests were going on outside the recruiting stations several years ago. Remember
Yeah.
those? And they were threatening the recruiters, and of course, the recruiters are not allowed to carry
Right.
per UCM or whatever
Yeah.
their command
Local
rules.
recruit command.
And so good old boys are showing up with a lawn chair and a rifle. Outside the-
Yep. Yes, David, I believe the guy who harassed the drive-through lady did get fired from his company.
Yeah, you did.
Well, yeah, let's do something that's almost illegal.
Yeah.
He's skirting the edge of
Well, not only that, but let's take the nicest people
Yeah.
in customer service you have ever met and make them cry.
Yeah.
Really?
Unlike that little girl down at Sonic here.
Oh God, with a battle tray of Doom +3.
Yeah.
Oh God.
and all her brothers, cousins, and uncles standing by watching it happen. Going,
The construction crew, the Scandinavian Mexicans that were 5'0" to 6'8", and dark-haired blondes with brown blue eyes.
Yeah.
Because couldn't find out who the hell. Everyone described them differently.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing when that little girl from Stephenville gooch punched that kid over the jealous boyfriend over the Christmas holidays in the Walmart parking lot.
Mm.
And when she hit the poor guy in the taint with she was holding a Comtex Stinger when she did it, and somebody taught that girl how to put her hips into a punch, and she nails him right in the taint. He dropped like a sack of rotten trout.
well, wouldn't we all?
Yes. Well, and when the investigator got there, he's witnesses what happened, and apparently, quote, Dodo man, his left nut exploded and fell over.
Yeah, Jason's comment says, the 11th commandment, thou shalt not make your employer look bad in the internet.
That is correct.
However, when the employers screw themselves over, like
Well, there's some-
Delta and Coke and
For
American.
Some employers cheered that crap.
Well, there's I read in the news, there's a consortium of businesses in Georgia that are assigning open letters condemning Coke and Delta
Yeah.
and whoever
Oh
else.
wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because apparently these little boycotts are hurting the very people are supposed to be protecting.
Yeah.
Well,
It's amazing how that works out.
Yeah.
who's got the jobs? Who's got the money?
Yeah.
Sure, it's hell ain't the liberal weenie sitting in his mommy's basement.
Yeah,
No.
that's for true. Well, that's something we want to head down that dirt road. That's something I think a whole bunch of companies are figuring out.
Yep.
Is one, the Twitter mobs, the outraged Twitter mobs are smaller than you think, but they're so loud they seem bigger.
Yeah.
And most of them are living in their mother's basement.
Well,
Disney's discovering that.
Yeah,
The mob that got Gina Carano fired, it's like 5 people.
Yeah.
right. They refuse to tell how hashtag cancel Disney Plus trended.
Yeah.
They have taken away
The
Kennedy's
downvotes.
Kennedy's. She had they've got all sorts of Star Wars stuff in development, and Kennedy had this TV movie or movie direct to streaming for the New Republic,
Yeah, Knights of the New Republic.
Right.
Like that.
right?
The
And
Old
they
Republic.
took it away from her yesterday.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, they killed it. It's been in development for 2 solid years, and they killed it.
Oh, that's expensive.
She's been told if the guy that I'm watching on YouTube, Mike Zero, is correct, she's been told to hands off everything that Favreau
And Filoni.
and Filoni are involved with.
Oh, damn.
So she's close to being fired herself
Yeah.
at this point.
Well,
Now you're getting credit for the baby moving.
What?
Josh says, seems our next child has his feet in my wife's ribs until Lynn started talking. He moved to listen better.
He was just getting ready to kick off.
But now that they're learning that these, that somebody went back and did a deep dive on the Twitter mob that did the Gina Carano thing. And one, it turned out to be less than 10%. There were so many sock puppet accounts.
Yeah.
And they figured out it was sock puppet because they had the exact same wording and exact same avatars in their titles. And then they went back and they did a search over grammar and how to ID somebody. And it came back, it's like
Same person.
less than 10% actually.
Yeah.
And then they went back and said, okay. And since it's the internet, did a deep dive. We know exactly who these people are. Where do they live? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, they live at this address, and that address doesn't get Disney Plus.
Yeah. Cedar says Josh's poor wife is like 40 weeks due to pop any moment, so any relief is good. Yeah.
It's, if I remember correctly, there's that little thing at the top of the foil that pops out when it's done, right? Is
Well,
that right?
no, you're thinking of the turkey.
Oh, that's right then.
Jesse says zero sources are iffy at best.
Oh,
Yeah. He's been right the last few weeks about the Gina Carano thing. So I don't know.
Sarah Singleton says maybe if we make her laugh hard enough, she'll go into labor. Yeah, like I want to get blamed for that one.
we had a young lady when I was working on the ambulance service. We had a young lady who was tired of being pregnant. Given to understand that happens. She was done sick and tired of being pregnant. And her mother told her, well, go for a walk and it'll speed things along. So she went for a walk. And at the end of her walk, hey, water broke 2 miles down a dirt road in the back of Beyond.
Yeah.
So we banged.
This is pre-cell phone days. Please tell me.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
So we banged down this dirt road and loaded her up and banged back up the dirt road, got back to pavement, went on pavement for 20 miles, got on the highway, and we were almost to big city where labor and delivery was. And, it's you got to do it. And so I said, ma'am, please forgive me, but I have to check. And she said that she didn't give a damn. She was apparently very tired of being pregnant. So I looked, and my partner who was driving yelled back, what do you see? And I said, eyebrows, pull over. And would you believe babies are slick?
Yes, I know the little suckers are slick.
I mean, worse than a watermelon seed,
Yeah.
because she gave out with a yell, and the kid came out, and then I bounced that kid off the back door, the narcotics locker, the stretcher, the back door, my chest, the narcotics locker, and then managed to catch the little snot, put him in his mother's arms. And would you believe that 20 years later, the DPS trooper that pulled up behind the ambulance to see what the hell was going on remembers that I was sitting on the back bumper taking deep hits off the oxygen bottle?
Yeah.
You think her mom would have said, you're tired of being pregnant, take a walk towards the hospital. Towards the hospital.
Now the pop-up is the belly button on a woman. That's
That's
what
right.
pops up. Trust me, I've seen that.
Yeah, but those things pop up like weeks early.
I'm thinking that mama forgot about baby brain and figured that would be common sense. But
No.
baby brain had taken over because she didn't walk up the dirt road towards the pavement. She walked away from it took us almost an hour to get there.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Cedar says, I went back to the house while I was in labor with number 2, got back to the house and went into the push mode. Kiddo was almost born on the porch. She did a home birth with a midwife.
They still have those.
Yeah.
I'm blanking. Delivering babies at one time has caused me a blank out of just delivering babies. Just I get the blue screen of death. Like an Indian head test pattern goes on behind my eyes.
Oh,
Well, the one always cracks me up. Kelly, though, delivering
Oh, God.
one in the yoga pants.
Oh,
now No, 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 no. Ow! No, my brain.
Didn't even have time to get her out. She had her turned sideways in the car, and she went, ah. Huh. Okay, we got a kid.
No. No. Okay.
Yeah, I caught 2 over the years.
I just did the one. That was enough for no. I take it back. I've done 2, and that was enough for me.
I'm a firm believer in natural childbirth. She's in the delivery room. I'm out in the waiting room smoking cigars.
You know, after having delivered 2 little snots, I have to.
That's the traditional method. I've seen it in every old movie. This is how it should
In
be.
1970, we got trained on how to deliver babies at Glenn County Hospital in Brunswick, Georgia. So here are 3 of us 19-year-old sailors in there going to learn all this stuff.
Gotta learn, you know.
Yeah. So we're in the delivery room, watching this woman deliver, and the husband is there, and we're kind of, leaning up against the wall, and the doctor's telling us what he's doing and everything else. And we're going, damn. And about that time, she lets go with a string of cuss words, and hubby saying, you ain't never touching me again, and if you try to, I'm going to cut your what off. And he goes after her. And the doctor looks at us and goes, get him. So we dogpile the guy.
Throw some elbows, maybe a couple hooks.
And next thing I know, the doctor has got a needle, and he goes, thud. All right, you can get off of him now. And the guy is out cold.
B-52.
And he goes right back, it pulls the sleeves up. All right, where were we here? He just delivers the baby. And the 3 of us are sitting there going, you got to be shitting me. We're going to, no.
I got to imagine that hypo had been prepped.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago, like when she rolled in, they have, this is for her and this is for him. And it's
Yeah.
just a hypo. And
Well,
happy knockout.
B-52 is what they use for chemical restraint.
Yeah.
And if you can get a judge, and it's really hard these days to get a judge order for chemical restraint.
Yeah.
We had a guy that had, flat smoked himself stupid. He'd gotten a bad batch of marijuana that had been smoked in formaldehyde. And smoked not 1, but 2 of them. And wound up barking at the moon, and he wasn't coming back. Well, PD picks him up, and it took 6 of them to get him into jail. We had him in number 1 down there in CBI in a violent segregation cell. And he was kicking the bench with his bare foot and splintering the bones in.
Yeah.
And the nurse called the judge, and the judge ordered a chemical restraint. So I got me and 4 of the largest, biggest hairy-legged knuckle draggers I had down there, and we would charge the end, and we just dogpiled them. And there had to be 800 pounds on this guy, 800, 900 pounds, and he's just bench pressing us up. And little bitty Nurse K goes flying over the pile with this syringe of B-52 and just ice picks it into the pile and slaps the top. And
missed.
One of my Kiowa Indian detention officer goes, oh, and goes limp. And she looks at the needle and goes, well, shit. Tell us to pull another B-52. We put the Indian in the corner because he's just drooling.
Yeah. Sarah says, try being on the other end of it. I've had 3 planning on having it in the home. Ended up in the OR with my bra hanging on the IV stand because they forgot to have her take it off in prep.
Just like any good frat party, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like the beginning of a hell of a party.
Well, when my second one, my youngest, was born, we had a fire call, and I looked at my wife at the time, and I said, are you going to be okay? She said, sure, go to the fire. So I go to the fire. We get the fire out, and we're sitting on the back of the fire truck going, and they tone the station down. Mr. Curtis, would you please report to the Naval Hospital, Jacksonville? Shit. Can somebody give me a ride? So I've got on turnout gear, a pair of gym shorts, and a t-shirt.
Because you don't wear anything else underneath.
Don't wear anything else underneath.
That's hot.
Yeah.
State trooper grabs me, throws me in his car in the front seat this time. And we go to NAS Jacksonville, pull up to the emergency room. I hop out in turnout gear, go clomping in, and the nurse looks at me and goes, "Where the hell are you going?" I said, "They called me for delivery. My wife's up on delivery." She says, "You can't go up there looking like that." Well, give me something.
Why can't I didn't realize that delivery rooms were formal occasions.
Well,
I will get my tail and tie.
no,
I was slightly odoriferous because I'd been in the fire.
Oh, that's what
I
you're
was shoved there and set my socks and walked up there proud as a ham at high time.
I started stripping, and she says, I'll get you something." So I literally stripped off my turnout gear and everything else right there in the hallway, put on a pair of scrubs, and I went clomping up barefooted all the way up to delivery.
The thing is,
Got there and walked in. The doc looked at me and goes, "Where the hell you been in the fire?" And I went, "Yes."
See, she just said, "You can't, not dressed like that." And she would have gotten that out before those gym shorts that hit her in the face.
And then the baby's delivered. Celeste was delivered, and I'm looking over the doc's shoulder and went, "Well, Apgar's 7 and 9." He looked around at me like, "Asshole." And he wrote down 7 and 9.
The woman was really tired, and someone's house had just named the child tired.
Yeah.
I love the fact that turnout gear is designed so you can literally just drop it all right there and it stays nice to the pile.
Yep.
And then when you're done with whatever you're doing, you can step back into it.
Yeah. Well, you preload the stuff anyway.
Well, when Wayne's second and third, at least number 3, but probably number 2, when Mrs. Wayne gave birth, I was at work. The first time I showed up, I was fully jocked up when I showed up. I won't go up there in SWAT gear. I've got a plate carrier and zip ties, and I was clomping up there, and they went, "What?" I said, "Where's Mrs. Wisdom?" "She's in room 541. Thank you." Come back out there whispering and said, "Yeah, she's a rough one. You're gonna have to wash her." She gets the baby home, and I went by to visit after she got home. And she asshole.
Yes, David, I remember doing donning drills. I hated those friggin' things with a passion.
Third one came out. And I went running up there, and I was in my class A's. Had the polished, belt and everything. Went running up there and walked in, and she's still zonked, and she goes, "I told them not to believe anything you said."
Yeah, the worst one, David, was when we had to do the full turnout gear in July in Florida, and then put the SCBA on and do all that under a minute.
I did high angle extraction at Wichita Falls Fire Station in July.
Those are fun.
At their burn tower in full bunker gear, suspended in that harness, which compresses you nicely. So, all the insulation gets really close and snug.
Yeah.
And we
You're
had
walking around for 2 weeks like this.
We had one guy pass out on the line. Thankfully, his rappel.
I told you about that one time we flew an ROTC class around in Montclair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm an asshole.
Because fortunately he did his rappel rack right, and when he passed out, he just hung there.
Yeah. The other good delivery we had this lady, and we had her up in the Kellerman with her legs crossed, and I'm leaning on her to keep her from delivering, And we get her to the hospital in Orange Park, and I get off of her, and the nurse is going, "Why?" And he said, "She's close, like eyeballs close." And the nurse goes, "Oh, okay, well, let's move her over." So we go to move her to the gurney.
You started moving one patient, wound up moving two.
And the nurse caught the baby. And thank God she had on gloves and didn't drop her. And after the fact, I went, "What did you have? Grip on those gloves or something?"
Hindtar.
It's that goof that the NFL uses.
Yeah.
And then I asked the woman as we got her into the ER, I said, "How many kids have you had?" She says, "Oh, this is number 5. So why the hell did you call us?
Well, there was lady-ish, a person, a human of the female persuasion at First Bucks Golf I ever worked for, and she was on baby number 13.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
And she had hit her newest baby daddy, not the daddy of the baby on board. But anyway, it was complicated. She hit him with an iron. So they brought her to jail. The DPS brought her to jail.
7-iron, 9-iron, sandwich, what you with?
Iron.
Oh, steam iron.
Steam
Okay.
iron. She was serious, and it was plugged in apparently at the time.
Oh, 2
So
for 1.
I asked her how far along she was, and she was due like within 3 days. And I said, yeah, how many is that? She said, number 13. And I put down the pencil, walked to the sheriff's office, said, get her the hell out of here. The sheriff said, we can't. It's aggravated assault. I said, if you don't, the jail population is going up by 1 sometime in the next hour. And she's going to name it after you. And there was a PR bond across my desk before I got back there to finish booking her.
Oh, David, August in upstate New York, that could not have been fun. Oh, I don't even want to think about that. I guess you guys up there had all those funky competitions y'all would go to. Down south, we didn't do that because that was too damn much work.
No.
No, and down south,
And we're sane.
when you want to do training at the local fire department, you go find an old barn,
And you set it on fire.
set it on fire.
One of the nicest old houses in town went up in flames for the fire department to practice.
Yeah, and they tried like hell to set a bunch of other houses on
Yeah,
fire
no
at the
kidding.
same
No
time.
kidding.
This is why it's called training.
Yes.
Well, they waited too long until the wind got up.
Exactly.
One, it was 0% humidity. We were in the middle of a drought. It was August.
Yep.
And they were enthusiastic with the excitement.
No, it
No?
went up that quick.
Oh, did it?
I watched it.
Well, the thing was over 100 years old and it was all hardwood.
Well
Right.
seasoned.
Yeah, well seasoned hardwood. Rita almost cried when that thing went up.
The house, it burned to the ground in 8 minutes.
Geesh. And it was a 2-story multiple bedroom
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, but the thing was so rotted out, there's no saving it. It was, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was
But she just wanted the hardwood on the second floor was still good, and she wanted to save the hardwood, and it didn't get saved.
Oh, actually, it did.
Oh, did it? They ripped the hardwood out?
I found out that somebody got authorization to go in there and take the hardwood out.
Yeah, that was
without it falling down on their heads.
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
smart,
it's
'cause I was
oh God, trailer fires.
like,
Ugh.
oh Jesus.
I got caught in a trailer fire.
Yeah, the problem with trailer fires these days is it usually means meth lab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I was going with that.
Well,
Yeah.
this was before the meth labs, thank God. But inside fighting one inside with a fog nozzle. Because we found out that put them out quicker than a regular fire hose.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I start hearing ammunition start popping.
Uh,
And it's like, oh shit. So I took a dive in the bathtub. And I'm laying in the bathtub. And then I realized this is kind of friggin' stupid because I'm in the bathtub spraying water and ammunition is still cooking off. And how the hell am I supposed to get out of the bathtub?
technically, if you're still spraying water, it was a shower.
Yeah. But trying to get myself turned,
Yeah.
and I've got that SCBA on my back. So
you
I'm
get
like,
your knees
You're
underneath
turtled.
you.
Yeah, I'm
that ain't-
turtled up.
That ain't happening. Yeah.
I remember coming out of a house fire in Electra, and there was an oak tree in the front yard. It was fall, so all the leaves were dry, and the leaves came out of the house fire. They were working the fog nozzle. Came out of the house fire, and the leaves were landing on the bumper gear and smoking and catching on fire.
The other thing I remember about that fire was our warrant gunnery officer was on the department with us, picked up a pony of propane,
Oh damn!
picked it up and threw it about
Yeah.
30 yards,
Yeah,
and then picked the second one up and threw it about 30 yards.
because it would have thrown him about 100 yards.
Yeah.
But you know how much those ponies weigh?
Yeah.
There was, shall we say, encouragement
Yeah.
to do his best.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were both hissing and they were little flames.
Really, encouragement,
Yes.
motivation, one might say.
Yeah, David, after the fact, I realized, as I'm laying in the tub like a turtle without a chamber and a barrel, the cook-offs weren't dangerous. However,
When you first hear him go off,
yeah,
first you say it, then you do it,
yeah.
and then the other thing is,
everybody says, well, they're not dangerous. And then somebody's gonna get hit by flecks of shrapnel.
Yeah.
The shredded case is gonna
Yeah,
be.
Well,
picking
after I got out and we got the thing out, found out the guy had 700 rounds in that closet
what?
that was on fire.
That's nothing. 700 rounds is, well,
It's a good Friday afternoon.
yeah,
They were loose rounds. They weren't in ammo cans.
Well, even better.
okay.
Even
Yeah,
better.
Yeah, better thrown than a Blevy. Yes. I've seen one Blevy and that was one too many. And no, not just because Ian was a half hour late, we're not going to go another half hour.
Did somebody seriously ask that?
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of,
More than one person.
be merciful.
Well, folks, like I said, we've wasted another hour of your time,
Oh, we've got FoolsCon this weekend, don't we?
Yeah.
yes.
Oh.
and we've got FoolsCon this weekend.
I have to go print out the agenda. I typed it out.
We'll see a few of y'all there. Yeah, yeah, Jesse, that was the point. You know, you never know if there's one in the pipe or where it's pointed. And this trailer was,
Well, shrapnel flakes,
yeah,
shrapnel wire, because brass tends to flake off in wires. And
Yeah.
pulling that stuff out of your hide or your eyeballs or testicle,
Yeah.
or it's
Yeah.
just not
Well,
fun.
I mean, if it was a loaded magazine sitting in a rifle and they started cooking off, now you got a barrel.
Sanford, I already have to finish a short story for your wife. You're not getting a hunting anthology. I'm not doing it.
I've got to finish that one for Cedar too.
Yeah.
I
All right,
actually-
folks.
I actually started it last weekend.
Well, y'all have a good day.
Be
Have a
safe,
better
guys.
week. Be safe. Remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Be safe, guys.
Bye.